Welcome to another episode of my Motortown playthrough. Today we are back on Hoki Hoshi's server because, well, I need some money on this character and it's not going to earn itself, so here we are. Honestly, this is likely not even going to be that profitable in the end because I just wanted to use the rollback truck some more. It's one of my most favorite vehicles in the game. It's amazing with all the functionality and everything. But for the most part, I've been using this whenever I buy a new car and need to get it somewhere. But honestly, the harbor deliveries for it should really be doing those a bit more, so that's what I'm here for today. We might be switching over to the Lomax at some point because, well, I have multiple objectives with this. First up, using the truck some more. Secondly, as I mentioned, I need money. And thirdly, I still have a few achievements that I need in this game, like 3 of them. And one of them is just getting 100 vehicle deliveries from here. So I'm going to try and do that on this character. Basically, the stuff doesn't really add up between multiple characters, otherwise I would be pretty close to getting a lot of these things. But yeah, I'm about even on both characters, so since I'm playing more actively on this one, I think this is what I'm going to be trying to use for everything. Okay, this one also goes into Gangyang. I checked out a few vehicles beforehand, but I would really like to use this one because heavier ones should be paying a bit better if I can fit this on here. Oh, that's actually quite a nice fit. Okay, something like this should be alright. I hope it's not too heavy though. I remember doing something really stupid a while ago with a similar setup. But yeah, let's see. Sounds a bit weird, but we should be alright here. Yeah, this thing almost looks like a box truck now. For people. But yeah, events are going to happen soon. So I want to make the episode beforehand, but also I would like to talk a bit about the stuff. So right now, as I mentioned in the last episode, I'm in the private testing group and stuff is happening right now. And it's always a bit scary going from one version to the other. I mean, not between one testing version and the next one, but specifically between the live version that I'm on right now and the private testing version for the next update. Sometimes stuff can get messed up a little bit, and I'm a bit afraid if I buy something on the other character, especially something like new marker lights or so, like the stuff that we've gotten with the last update, and then roll back what's going to happen to that stuff. A bit sketchy on that one. Another guy coming past here, thankfully didn't run into me. But yeah, my modus operandi for now is first up backups, of course. But secondly, since I would like to take the progress from one version over to the next one whenever I swap back and forth, um, my goal right now is to use my main character where I have everything and also the money to test new items, to use that on the testing version. And this right now is my character for the live version, including the events. In the past I've always been using my main character for the events, but yeah, right now I would rather have this one for that. Which means that I recently used the workshop to transfer one of my cars from my other character to this one, which is the Vista Rallycross. So the thing that I used in the first V8 big block event. And yeah, was a bit shocked to find out that after a few handling updates to the game, the truck didn't really, the car didn't really perform anymore. Didn't drive too well, so I did a lot of retesting and changed a bit of the suspension and everything, and in the end I even bought another car because I thought this thing just wasn't doing it for me. Specifically, I had the goal to not damage this thing here too much. Yeah, you really notice the weight on the back. It's a lot here. So it's pushing down so much on the back that the front wheels don't have enough traction anymore, and the whole thing just tries to go off-road. But yeah, with the Vista and the event, my goal was to use road tires. So the whole performance thing, KM2, whatever they are called. Because for the most part, the events are going to be on the road. There's always a decent bit of off-roading involved here, but it's far less than half of the entire route. And I just couldn't figure it out. I mean, I could potentially drive much slower off-road and just try to go through the dirt section without major incidents like this thing here. Yeah, this was definitely a bit too heavy for the truck. But yeah, it's no good. And in the end I decided to just go for off-road tires now, which I want to avoid because once again there is going to be yeah, a bit of a nerve on the road. It's going to not give me the full grip there. But I think for being able to then just rip it off-road, really make use of the dirt paths and not spin out all the time, that might be a worthwhile trade-off. So yeah, the car right now is in a pretty good space, even though I wish I could just use regular road tires and get the full power on the road. I've even tried something ridiculous, just making the rear tires off-road and the front tires regular road ones. Worked great off-road, would have been alright with that, but on the road, no chance. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the car performs, how well I can do, how the event goes. I've been planning this out since before the what was it again? The whole event update even came out. Initially, I wanted to have it hosted beforehand, but that would mean marking out the entire route with cones, which also means that you can't really prevent people from shortcutting, and it's a lot more setup time, especially since stage 2 is going to be using a few roads from stage 1, so you would have to go back and change a few of signposting and that kind of deal. So waiting for the event stuff to come out was definitely the right call. Sadly, after I got done with everything that I wanted to do for the actual event at that point, that was right before my PC broke down, so that was another major distraction from everything. But yeah, I'm finally here, we are finally doing it, and I'm happy that it's going to get done today. And yeah, we are going to see how well it runs. I've seen that not too many people were interested in the first round. So that can be up to 15 sometimes, and last time around it was only 5, and that's a bit disappointing. But I get it. Might not be everybody's cup of tea, and I mean, I've also skipped on a few events. We are going to see how many people are there for the second round, which I'm going to attend. And after that I'll also be jumping on to this server again for Hoki's event. Again, no guarantee that I'll be able to give you guys my POV on that. It depends how it's going to be run in practice. But here we are, almost 12k. which isn't even all that much. And you know what? I'm just going to teleport back to the other place and get another vehicle here. Much quicker. I'm not going to go for the Kira. That's kinda tempting, but realistically something that I should be avoiding. You know what? I'm feeling the... yeah, let's go for the Supra. I'm kind of I want to go for the heaviest one, and I think, yeah, the Supra is going to be a tiny bit heavier than the muscle car behind that. So let's see. I also should be turning on the lights here because, well, I have them, and they're actually pretty useful in the dark. Maybe not right here where we have the floodlights, but for vehicle recoveries this would be really nice. So somewhere out on a side road. And yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but the whole underlift thing for the truck, that should be coming at some point. Would be useful, especially for recovery jobs, not these ones. Come on. But yeah, here we are. Got the next one set up on here. Rolling forward now, and that should be about it. The thing is, I was actually planning on making this episode a few days earlier, but I ran into some weird bugs, and in the end, I decided to just wait another day. I got a bit annoyed by it. Basically, I had one of the larger vehicles, the servers on the back, and for some reason the straps kept failing and I couldn't really roll it onto the truck, so something didn't work out and stopped me from being able to do anything. Also the spawns here got a bit messed up for some reason. I also want to do another recovery episode with the Golima rotator and the Lomax trailer, which is a really good combination, but once again there was something kind of sketchy going on. But yeah, here we are now. I was also maybe hoping for a few slightly less long deliveries here. I mean, the distance pay is pretty good, but for today, I kind of just want to get a vehicle on, make a quick delivery, unload it again, and just keep going that way. And I mean, the distance isn't too bad. If you really want to go for long distance, then Delta is your destination, which also has a few more options for you, because in the end there are a few more that spawn there. And usually, at least for most of the journey, it's going to be back to Jeju Island, meaning that if I go there, load up maybe 2 trucks or 3 regular cars or something, I'll be having them on the back of my trailer for a long while. So that's usually pretty efficient. And that's how I've been getting a lot of my money here and also just leveling up quite a bit. But yeah, coming back here doing the Jeju stuff, it's also kinda nice in its own way. I think it might not be paying enough overall. There should maybe be a bit of a flat payment for just loading the stuff on, because that can also take a while. But in the end, just having to do a bit more calculation on where you want to go, the order you load the stuff on, that kind of deal, it's a bit more prevalent here because the journey itself isn't that long. So you're gonna be doing the stuff more often in the same amount of time. Also, I think I'm back on 100% moonlight brightness. I might have to change that again for the event. Otherwise, it's just going to be, handicapping me. And I don't need a handicap. I'm bad enough on my own. Thank you very much. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it before. I think I did my last episode, but from the next update on, we'll have the option to turn off traffic, which is going to be huge for events. I don't know how it's going to be done on this server, because I think we are going to have the event just on the server as it is right now and not a separate kind of deal, or session I mean. But yeah, for TWL events that's going to be huge, and I hope it also means that we are just going to be going more down the line of road racing. I like the racetracks, but we don't have enough of them in this game in order to keep that from getting boring. But yeah, should be good once we... damn it. Just did a lot of damage just through that one bump in there. Shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, once we get the next update, events are going to be so much better, so much more consistent, and not the high probability of running into problems like we have right now. I actually have another event planned that I think I'll be holding on, or be holding off on until we get that update, because I have about 10-minute long route across Lijo Island, which I like to use for an endurance event, and for that it would be nice if we didn't have the problems with traffic and all. I think it's a bit less of a problem um, as long as you have a few races in the event. If it's only one race and you crash at the beginning, that's basically the entire race potentially ruined, depending on how severe the incident is and how many repair shops there are on the way. But with this thing, I have to see. Oh. Barely got that, but worked out in the end. And yeah, for an event like that, it should just be a lot more well suited. Huh? Already got another... Do I want to do that? Let's see where it goes. I'm not bringing it back to Gangyang again. I mean, that's likely going to be not worse, but also not too great. See, and that's what happens if you use a tow truck. That dude is never going to be driving faster with that thing. Also, I don't know why that thing just started shaking there. I don't really want to go to Gappa right now, so let's maybe not do that. I think these also go to Gangyang. Let's use the Lilliput. I was looking forward to getting another heavy vehicle like that, but honestly, I mean, looking at my choices here, I don't want to do the same route for every delivery today. That would be a bit boring. So throttle up again, since I respawned the whole thing. I also need to go to the rollback thing. I'm always looking at it from the perspective of the bad, and I just constantly get it wrong. But yeah, let's get in here. And let's see if this can be a bit better than the last time. Just trying to drive it on backwards now. which I don't know if it's going to do anything for my journey here, but at least the wheels are a bit further on. I mean, this likely has the engine in the back, so that should be where the majority of the weight is. And that might actually help me out, because that should be a bit more forward now. So slightly less of a shit show. I hope we'll eventually get a bigger rollback truck. That would be amazing. Trying to get a feel for how difficult this will be, but it doesn't feel all that bad. If I expected a second Lilliput, I would have maybe paid more attention to how the excavator ends up here. How that works out. I mean, yeah, the majority of the weight is understandably on the rear axle, but the front doesn't look too bad, I would guess. So let's bring that one over. Well, that's a lean. I still have to transfer this setup back over to the other character, because on my main I don't have the additional lights on. Also, eventually I need to take care of my atlases, or atli, or whatever the plural is. I have so many different setups right now, and especially when it comes to the decal system. I would like to have some stuff on one character that is only on the other right now, and with how many different Atlas versions there are, and me having two characters that partially have the same, it's really tough keeping stock of everything. I also wish we could just transfer a few things from one Atlas to the next one. I mean, copying over the attachments with the coordinate system, it's kind of straightforward, but it takes a while. And especially when it comes to some of my liveries, I wish I could just put one on the other. I recently bought the 6x2 lift axle semi, and I would like it to have the same decals as my 6x4. But yeah, that's going to be hard work, and I don't know if it's even possible at all, because it's going to be so many parameters on every single decal. But I will have to see about it. I might just do things differently there, but I would really like if those two were looking exactly the same. Okay, honestly, it might be the lower speed on this road, but this doesn't feel all that bad. Maybe I need to go back through the video and just check what the axle weight on the first one was. Because that might have been much worse, having the bus loaded on the other direction. But yeah, here we are. Target almost in sight. Also, I gotta say, I find it still amazing just how much more beautiful the island has become over the past few updates. Like the update to the scenery, especially around Gangyang, that's just chef's kiss. Okay, how do I do this without being in the way of everybody else? Yeah, I think I'm just going to drive onto the the bus station here. I hope we'll actually at some point get this thing redone. I don't mind the look of it, but it's really awkward being on the side of a road like this. So the idea that I had for this was basically um, at a crossroads here with one road going off in this direction and then just have the middle open with enough space to turn the bus around in one go without like 3-point turning or something, and just have the passenger area on the outside. So you would be coming in here, then going to this side, and at some point there would be the stop, and you could turn around and come back here and then go your merry way. That would make it much easier to go either direction after the drop off. We have these quite often in Germany actually, so yeah, I like those, I am familiar with them. And in Germany it's actually usually even a separate stop for letting people out and then letting others come back on. Usually depending on the route there's going to be a few entry areas for the different bus lines, but always a combined stop and let people get off area. So let's see what else is here. I don't think I should be taking the Lobo with this one. This would be not great for me, I don't think. You know what, maybe let's check where does this one go. I might do a delivery using... Bloody hell, no, not going down there. I might be doing a delivery using the Lomax trailer. If I can find stuff that fits. Okay, this is overseas import. Ah, another spawned. This one needs to go to Oedo, so this would be at the very back if I load this on. That seems to be the 6x2. Jesus Christ, that scared me. Okay, that goes there. That's also pretty good. Where do you need to go? Also here. Okay, that's coming together. So I could get those and also the FL1. That seems like a good idea. Oh yeah, I also should be spawning that one in. Don't want to leave it behind. So we can go with a 6x2 semi, with a 4x2 I mean. I really like this thing. It's quite a bit longer than the SRT, but pretty nice, pretty stable. And it does a very solid job. Okay, I think the FL1 needs to go in front and then we can load on the other two. If I can even load on everything here, they might be a bit too long for the trailer. There we go. Again, with how the buttons are set up right now, I cannot really use the X and Y for this. I would be changing my camera, and X also closes the entire menu. But let's get the FL1 on first and then check the other one right after. There's another truck coming in here. Honestly, having multiple company vehicles around, it's really making the place more lively. I hope it also comes as regular traffic at some point. Just having something loaded with cargo, having semi-trucks that pull the trailers and that kind of thing. But yeah, knowing that these trucks are actually functional and they are doing a job, that's kinda... It's neat. No valid location, so that's not amazing. I mean, half of wheels being strapped down should be alright. Okay, let's see. I reckon this will be the heavier one, so if I can only get one of these on there, it should be this one. Yeah, the lift axle is dragging. Oh god. Need to lift it up because otherwise I won't be able to put it on here. Yeah, there isn't really enough space for everything that I want to do, but hey, at least I got two of them on here. I could have maybe gone with this semi and the wrecker because they go for the same location, but at the end of the day I don't mind. I think having the heavier ones is better for payment. So this should be the better choice in the end. And as long as I loaded them correctly, this shouldn't really be more complicated. It just requires tool stops, but it's... Jesus Christ, that came out of nowhere. But yeah, nothing really too difficult here. I also was still on the wrong side of the road here. So yeah, in the end I was more at fault than that dude, but yeah. Okay, let's see, how heavy are we now? Still okay. Bit in the yellow with the rear semi-axle, but it's still okay, still below 10 tons, and after all my tires should be holding more than what's allowed legally. I really need to get past this thing. Now you're accelerating. Let's see how you take the next corner. I'm likely just gonna be slow as hell again. I feel like some of the weirdness here, apart from them not being able to take corners well, has to do with server optimization. The last update made a lot of improvements on the performance, which is of course amazing and much appreciated, but some of the stuff that's desyncing now because the game doesn't really keep track of it anymore. Not all that great. We'll have to see if we can get a bit more, make it look a bit more functional, make it feel a bit more natural like it should, but also don't make it too much worse on performance. It's always a balancing act. We are talking about that whole thing again. I'm not going to chime in on that conversation. I'm here to make the video, not chat too much. Can't really do both things at once. Also, I'm not too sure if this was the right choice. I might have to go off at the water factory. May have been a better idea to just keep on the ring road. But yeah, we should be making it there sooner or later. Also the reason why I got the 6x2 semi at this point. Basically, the Atlas 6x4 is the only one that I ever put in the 13 speed transmission. Because of that one job that just wasn't possible without a low gear. So that's always going to be great for that, but I don't really like driving it otherwise, and yeah, I think at that point, I mean, I have enough other semi-trucks, but I would still like to have 6 by something Atlas. And for the lighter jobs, I think the 6x2 should be doing alright. Might as well enjoy the lift axle a little bit. Otherwise, I would have just bought another 6x4, and that's not really all that amazing. To have two of the same. Ah, Jesus Christ, back on the stupid flower banks. Try to not overcorrect here. Swerving back and forth like an idiot. Okay, maybe it's time for the jack brake. Because this area can be quite treacherous. Especially the upcoming corner. It's also going to be part of my endurance track. So going around here, and you have to be on the track to get to the intersection here. I mean, you're going straight through here, but I also put down a checkpoint because I didn't want people to just waltz through the forest there. Yeah, gotta remember that the point that it's showing me right now is for the first truck that I put on here, meaning that it's the last one that I want to unload. And therefore we really need to take a look at the other one. Maybe I should have double checked that. I'm not entirely sure where I need to go here. Because it will either be the truck dealership or potentially the warehouse slightly north of that. I mean, we are going to pass through both of them, so I just have to keep an eye on it. Well, that's a Brutus that's just going on an adventure there. And yeah, that was of course the area that got streamlined quite a bit. And that also happened just slightly after I made a track through there, so that was a bit of a weird situation. Honestly, for the track I still miss the old corners, they were far more engaging. But for anything like this, I think the current state is much better. I just hope that they don't overdo it with these kind of changes. I like variety in the roads. So some of the back roads, they can be a bit more skirming around and that kind of deal. And I see that as mostly a back road. Also, I see that there's a drop-off area there. So this is where our first destination actually is. But yeah, let's unfold and let's put the ramp back down. And we should have a drop off for the first thing here in a moment. By the way, since I spoke about the achievements before, there are 3 more that I need. The one that I'm working on right now is the harbor delivery stuff. Why did it roll forward? The next one is 100 laps around Anson in whatever it's called again. The FSCM. Which honestly I'll have to check if it also accepts laps that are done in... Oh Jesus Christ, I'm doing everything wrong here. Laps that are done in an event, or also stuff where maybe I go off-road or something, because having to do 100 clean laps, that's kind of annoying. I don't like hot lapping in any game, so that's not really going to give me anything. And then there's also, of course, the 5k trash that I need to deliver. That's going to happen on the other character. That's definitely where that is going, because I'm so far further ahead on that one. Again, I wish it would just count together all the lifetime stuff delivered, no matter the character, but as it is right now, yeah, it doesn't really do that. But yeah, 5k trash deliveries, that's a lot of stuff. And I think at the very least we should be able to do that split between multiple characters, because for people like me who would rather sometimes start fresh and have another go at it, that would be yeah, just a bit more convenient and far less restrictive. But yeah, I think for that it's going to take a long time, and it will likely be a mix between me doing regular trash deliveries and also just doing what I did in the last few episodes. I think I better go around the back where we don't have the sign. And yeah, we'll have to see about everything here. Not too sure. The trash is just a stupidly high amount. As we've seen in the last video, it also counts towards the regular cargo delivery stuff. And despite there being so many more different types of cargo that can be delivered, half of that achievement is basically the achievement for only the trash stuff. So while I think that 10,000 cargo items delivered is not too much of a stretch if you really stick with the game, it's a long-term achievement, but there's variety, there's a lot of stuff that you can do and will eventually do, so that's going to happen naturally as you keep playing. I cannot say the same for 5,000 trash. Anyways, that's another delivery here, and that means that we are also done for today. Going to quickly despawn my vehicle here, and you know what, for the end, let me just grab my event vehicles so I can show you guys what I've been working with. So we have the Vista, which I still need to rename to Vista Rallycross, because that's eventually what... Yeah, that's really what it is. Stupidly soft suspension, decently hard dampeners, so that it doesn't really wiggle around too much. And also, of course, off-road tires, which has been the crux of the entire thing here. But otherwise, as seen in the last event, initially for the first event I had a completely different setup, with it being a bit more narrow and everything. But then we got the functional aero stuff, and yeah, this is what it is right now, and I think it looks pretty nice. The old one definitely looked a bit more yeah, like a hacked together replica, which I really like the look of, but yeah, compared to this one, it would be much worse because this at least has some arrow going on, which the other one was definitely lacking. And yeah, this should be pretty good in the event today. Looking forward to it. Don't want to drive this too much, it's fueled up with new tires and I don't want to waste them. And the other one will be the Enfo GHT, so this is for the Grand to Life tour. And yeah, this is just 240 horsepower engine, Enfo GT. So on spec for the event, and I tested it. I did a lot with my suspension. I did a full racing livery. The old one was a bit more street going. So now we have numbers and that kind of deal. And yeah, this should be doing really well in the event as long as nothing screws me over. And also one other thing I'm really proud of is this little spec race car that I made. Hoki actually tested it out in one of his latest streams and yeah, he liked it very much, so it's now officially part of the roster. So other people can download the tune from the workshop, apply it themselves, and then if we do any racing with these vehicles, everybody will be on an even playing field. The idea for this one is to have like an entry-level stock car. And I made sure that while it shouldn't be too obnoxious, the car isn't really tuned to be well performing within its limits. So I could easily lower the entire car, which would also make it much more expensive, and expenses were a consideration here. I could make the dampener stiffer, which would reduce the wiggle, but I wanted it to feel like a soft, old, heavy muscle car. And since it's more like a smaller pony car, it's not really that big of a deal, but it works. Decent performance, looks the part, but also doesn't really go too crazy. So I hope we should be able to have some really interesting races in these, and we'll have to see how it works out when other people get into the stuff. But yeah, switching the whole thing over to more racing focus on the server here, it's a work in progress. Occasionally we have a few races, but honestly I should be stepping up a bit more as a host here, and usually I'm more happy to sit back, let other people do their stuff, and yeah, just join in. But really, if I want to do that kind of racing that I'm after, then I should be trying to facilitate that. Speaking of racing, I don't know what the others are doing there, but there's definitely something going on in chat. But I think that's also enough for this one today. I should be getting ready for the races sooner than later. I still have like 2.5 hours, so it's not too bad. But yeah, next video will likely be a racing commentary. And until then, thanks for watching, have a good one, and bye bye.